Hello, people. Part three. Part three. Part three. Part three. 3 streams in a day. Yeah, 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 yeah. Guy working on the Pico 8 game was cool. Well, I'm glad that was a good raid. You know, we roll the dice and we raid the channels and we see what happens. Okay, we will start. We will start. What makes a great programmer great? ABC. A always, B, C closing. Always be closing. Coffee is for closers only. That scene is a little bit different given recent events. Man. Okay. Let us begin part 3 of our animation file format streams. In the first 2, we created a binary file format for the animations used in this game, which up until now had used a text file format, but that was becoming large and slow to load, and just there's other unpleasant things about it. And so we want to just go to a binary format that we can mostly just load into memory, and then when we play animations, we just read out of that. And so we've got the binary format, we are saving it, we are loading it, and the goal for today is now when we load the format, we want to be able to play back from the animation samples directly in the file, right? Right now, when we load this binary file, we are copying the animation data into our own thing, right? Our own like XForm state array. Now, one of the things, let's go look at the file format for a second. No, that's not it. Sampled animation. Yeah, so binary, when we load an animation right now, you know, we make all the bones and stuff, and then there's this loop that you'll be familiar with if you see what we did, and we have some things that help make the file small, right? But the in-memory footprint has to be bigger because the animation playback doesn't know how to use these flags. So we have this flag that says the translation is constant, right? If that's set, then we want the translation array to only have one sample instead of 75 or however many, right? And we want to just read from that sample, but we can't do that because the animation system doesn't understand that yet. So when we load this, we actually splat out 75 copies of this same vector. Similarly for the orientation and the scale. We would like to not splat out 70. In fact, we would like to not have any copies, right? So right now, what this line is doing even when it's not constant, what this is saying is we're going to go over each XForm state. We'll look at what the XForm state is in a second. It's a data structure. Basically, it holds the translation, orientation, and scale, right? We're saying iterate over every one of those and read a translation from the file data. We don't want to do that. We just want to set a pointer to the file data because that's much faster and it has a much lower memory footprint. You know, because you don't have to hold the animation data and the some copy of it, right? Okay, so XForm state right now is like this. Now, so we've got the translation, orientation, and scale bundled together in this animation, sampled animation struct. That's actually not good. Why? Because we might have translation being constant in an animation, but orientation not constant. In fact, that happens in a number of our files already. And if they're all bundled together, you can't have one translation and 75 orientations. It's either 75 of all of them or one of all of them. And that's not very good. So what we want to do is change. So we have translations, orientations, and scales all in 3 arrays. And then when we sample these animations, we put those back together. Now, normally this would be kind of a straightforward thing to just change where these are stored. It's always a little bit annoying to do this, but it's not that big of a deal. However, we're going to have to do it over more code than we would like because we still have all this text file code laying around because, you know, I haven't switched over the exporter, right? So the text files still have to be loaded because when the animator makes new animations or exports new things, they're still going to be in text until I do that part. And maybe I could have done that next, but I wanted to do this next because how this goes might tell us some things, maybe about how to change the file format. Who knows? Also, this is something that I felt like I could do tonight, whereas actually changing the exporter is maybe a big slog. We'll see. Maybe it'll be not that bad. Because there's multiple dimensions to that. One is just getting Maya running on this machine and like exporting some stuff. Another is exporting the binary file format, which I guess I'm going to do in C++, unfortunately. And then another one is translating the C++ over here so that we don't have to worry about maintaining a C++ plugin. And those are going to be like separate dimensions of the problem. Okay. Anyway, so we want to sort of debundle these into 3 separate arrays on here. Now, yeah, that's just going to be annoying. I was going to say we could do it one at a time, but that's really not a good idea. Because you could fail to update, like we want to keep the code running. And if we do it wrong, we could like fail to update things. And actually we don't really want it here. We want it on node info, which also is like, that's an annoying name. So we might change like node info to like bone or something. And in fact, let's just even do that. And then, so that node info, where even is it? Like, why is it down here? Because we were keeping it private, but that's got these states. I don't know why that was down there. Anyway, because nobody needs to refer to it directly, I guess. So this thing, it's got this name that we probably don't want to use, but then it's got this. And so I think to start, we're going to put these 3 arrays here on the node info, right? Okay. Do I use arrow keys or control NP? I use control NP. The one true way. Emacs got many things wrong, but that is one of the things it got right. Okay. Let's do this. This is just going to be called bone because node info doesn't mean anything. All right, bones.count, you don't even need to say. Let's just start dealing with this fallout. Animation channel. This is part of the playback, right? I should just look up node info. Okay, is this a different node info? It is. Okay, we're going to keep that for now. rename one of them at a time. That's channels node info. That's channels node info. This is animations. This is animations. We're going to have to edit some of this code when we break it up because these are the XForm states right here. And this is like, oh, if you disable lerps, right, then just copy the data. And instead of, we're not going to be able to just copy the data. We're going to have to get the position, orientation, and scale for that particular frame. Yes. Okay. Going back to this search. And that's channels. All right. So catalog. What's the other catalog? Let's just remove that. Bones. What did I do here? I literally didn't replace them all. Right, that was a search and replace. Okay. We have so far done absolutely nothing but make me slightly more comfortable with things. Okay. We still have a dude. That's great. Awesome. Possum. Wow, chat's quiet today. Chat is quiet today. So quiet. Okay, so now this bone info, I'm going to put it up by the bone flags. Oh, it's just bone, right? Let's put this up here by the bone flags in Harmony. And instead of this, we're going to no check in that. We're going to have positions, vector 3, orientations, quaternion, and scales, matrix 3. Okay? And these arrays could actually be different lengths. Okay. Great. Now it's a mess. Let's just have the compiler complain at us forever and we'll fix it. All right, so dot states, anything that says dot states is no good. Okay, here. Instead of this, So when we d'init here, if we came from a, free. No, I'm not going to worry about it because this is only for text files. It doesn't matter if we leak memory for text files because we're going to delete this code. This is literally just transition code, so we don't care if we, whatever. So states is a new array. Node.states equals states. Instead of this, we say positions is new array anim.num samples vector3, right? Let's just say P, O, and S because maybe that's what this text code is. And then let's say bone here. Even though this code is temporary, just doing the thing. Bone.positions is P, bone.orientations equals O, bone.scales equals S. Boom, boom. Okay, 574. Okay. What do we use this for? Capital C. Get local xform from relative. Okay, when do we even... I'm going to make an accessor function. We're going to say get xform state from an animation and a bone index and a sample index. All right. And we're going to use this all over the place. Get xform state. This returns an xform state. Result xform state equals nada and return result. Okay, but what do we do? Well, flags is animation.bone flags bone index, right? Okay. And then we do the thing. Now, it's a little bit sad. This is not going to be a very predictable branch, which is not great. Okay. But we're committed to this for now because we got to get our data down. Animation.bones bone index, all right? And then bone dot, did I call it translations? I called it positions. Let's call it, yeah, let's call it positions. Positions sample index, right? Oh, 0. So here's, I forgot to mention the game plan, all right? The game plan is we should be able to switch all our code over to using this flag without actually changing the data representation, right? Because all we're doing is we're saying, if the constant flag is set, get this, right? Otherwise get this. Now, we can do that while the whole array is still splatted full of copies of the vector. And it'll still work, and we keep our code continuously working. And once that works, and we think we can flip the switch, then we could try giving it a one length array and see who blows up, right? So that's the plan. Okay. Like, this is literally, all three of these are the same, right? And like, there's probably a way to do this like SIMD style or SIMD Crawford style, right? We could instead use the flag to mask the sample index, right? So if we take that flag and blow it out to 32 bits and then and the sample index, it'll turn into 0. Right? But we're not going to do that for now, but you definitely could do that. And then you just index the arrays. Have I read the Neal Stephenson book? Has anyone read it? I am unclear about what I'm going to think of this book so far. I don't know. Like, it definitely seems like a weird left-wing propaganda book so far. That just, we'll see where it goes. But, you know, I read his book that's more recent than this and didn't love it. And it was kind of weird that way too. Not as bad maybe, but, like this one, I'm not recommending it. Let me put it that way. I'm just reading it. But if the Amazon reviews are giving it a hard shafting, that could be a culture war thing as opposed to like, is the book actually good or not? Okay, so these are scale. Positions, scales. All right. 610. But I'm at like page 200 out of 900 or something. So, you know, we're still early. So again, we're going to go get xform state of animation parent index sample index. All right. Cool. Let's just let the compiler keep complaining. That's its job. That's a different file. I don't feel like we're done with that. We're definitely not. It's just we went to a different file for a while. Okay. Get xform state. Anim. Bone index is it, and sample index is sample index. All right. Okay. And then we do this, and then we do this. And then this is on the channel. We're going to keep that as xform state. All right. Did not match any of the possible overloads. Anim, bone index. Oh, yeah. Argument 2, sample index. Where does that come from? Wait, that's S32. Oh, argument 2, 1 based, bone index. That's it. Oh, yeah. Let's keep max index as 32. Really, still. Oh, max index. So now we're going to have problems passing that in. Okay, states is not a member of bone. If node.states okay. Okay, we're back in sampled animation. This is in our Nuke code. Oh, it's in our complete supplement. Node root 0 sample index. Let's say root index. Right. Root bone index. Just to document what the hell that 0 is. You may not need node root. Okay. I mean, yeah, I don't think we need that. So x0. Like we literally. Okay, we're going to no check in this. We're not going to bother cleaning it up yet, but okay. Mm-hmm. Right. Bone index 0. Okay, this one we don't do this way because this is before we set the frickin' flags anyway. Like they don't yet. Okay, nonsense. So here we got to do bone dot positions 0, bone dot orientations 0, bone dot scales 0. Great. Great. 725. Oh yeah. Okay. All our arrays are full length. So we're going to go for I goes 0 to, do we have num samples here? Anim num samples minus 1. Okay. Well, we'll just go there. I. Okay, 782. Yes. Here. Okay. Okay, so T is bone.translations. We're going to make ourselves short names. O is bone.orientations. S is bone.scales. We're going to assert T.count, right? TOS violation, checking for TOS violation. And then down here, we go T sub 0, right? And then here we go, we could screw this up. We append to builder. Boy, we could really screw this up. I mean, we could make an append array like we have append struct. I don't know. Wait. T. Sorry. Let's just do this. Okay, so we just pack the array out. We don't need a for loop or anything. We're good. So T, O, right, and S. Boom. Great. Okay. O and S. called positions, please. Got to put our x-axis in. And then 909. All right, what are we doing here? We're loading binary. So here, the goal is eventually that we can make these short, right? And in fact, the goal is eventually that we point them at the data from the thing. We don't do that yet. We're still going to copy them because that's part of our intermediate keeping the code working. All right, so we just do this. We're going to change that, so I'm not going to passive aggressively align it. Okay. See, now that we store these, this doesn't even have to be a for loop. It can be, but we would rather just mem copy, right? But we'll get it working without the mem copy and then do the mem copy later, right? Just take it easy. All right, so this is bone.positions, orientations. I'm doing the wrong thing here. This doesn't have a dot translation. Okay. Positions, orientations. We'll put a no check-in bopper on there. And actually, this is scales. Okay. We could just get struct, right? We're going to want this to be a mem copy as well. Bone.scales. We'll put one of these handy guys. Okay. And then state.scale is it. Okay, bone.scale singular. That's no good. No good. Okay. 317. No, different file. 344 in this file. This allocation is not a leak. P.data O and S. We're going to get rid of these eventually, I think. Oh, this is in the text file loading. We don't care. Okay. States is not a member of Bone. Whoops. Yeah. Okay. Okay, here we are trying to... This is loading the text file, and we're trying to load it into an Xform state. And this is Sag. Okay. I hope this doesn't use pointer math on the argument. What is P? Previous. Why didn't I see that declared? Where's P? The hell? Am I blind? Oh, it's literally right here. Okay. Duh. Duh. Okay. I'm just going to make a get xform state no flags anim node index sample index -1. Okay. Okay. On these ones, we're going to read into an xform state. Right? And then we're going to go we're going to get the bone. All right. I mean, do we not already have that? Oh, now we do that down here. Okay. It's literally right there. So we read the xform state into there, actually. And then we say bone dot positions sample index equals state dot translation orientations state dot orientation scales state dot scale and boom boom. Okay. The bones are their money. And then this, again, we don't care that much about this code because it's gonna go away. So again, we're going to go state xform state right here. Whoops. Capitalize that wrong. This is state. This is state. And then these three lines right here. Bam. We could even just swap this around. Okay, very good. Very good. In fact, we could combine these. We could say if sample index is less than 1 or file contains only changes and delete all this. But, sorry, or not file contains only changes. See, that's why I'm not doing that. It's because it's easy to make a mistake. When you're making this many changes at once, it could be brutal. Okay. Doesn't matter because we're getting rid of these text files. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They will go into the ether. Okay. 367 Magnum. Read Xform state. Okay, yeah, this is supposed to be by value right here. 317. If bone 0 I think that's what we wanted. Except hold on. This one seems wrong to me. I think we're setting the parameter. I think this should be that parameter states. Animation channel diff. Ah, it's so bright. Future so bright. Yeah, this is modifying the parameter. Node dot state sub 0 on the right. If anim dot bones state sub 0 bonus. Okay, get Xform state no flags. Well, that is going to be a simple chunky monkey. We're just copying that straight out in cases when it is known to exist. Oh, no flags. No flags. Great. Node index 369. We'll just cast it. 410. Okay, what are we doing here? If it's not relative, we're transforming to relative. Okay, child. All right. Get Xform state. Oops, that didn't come out right. Get Xform state anim node index sample index. All right. Parent is get Xform state anim parent index sample index. And then a info, that's a really old variable name. Same stuff. Same stuff. Okay, get Xform state. Did not match any of the possible overloads. That's again going to be in S64. Right. Well, does it run? No, it doesn't. Okay. 993. Oh. Wait, what? I somehow messed up loading right here. We might have to bring back Cafe Babe. Oh, shit. This get struct is dangerous. See, these are already by pointer. So we're like getting a point. We should maybe... That's dangerous. Dangerous, bro. Dangerous business. Telling the truth is dangerous business. Look, we got a dude. He's doing things. You know, we haven't figured out the name of this game yet, but we could call it Dude, comma, doing things, right? Wouldn't that be dope? Dude, comma, doing things. I could call it dangerous business. That would be an accurate... This game is dangerous business. Let me tell you. Okay. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. I kind of want to run a Benny test on the whole game in debug build. Just because I want to see what's going on. I want to give ample opportunity for assertions to fire. I want to see all sorts of craziness. I do have to tell you guys. Oh, God. I also do have to tell you guys, this past week has been a peak programming week for me. Like, I've just gotten a lot done. Most weeks are not quite this good. So, GG's. It hasn't been a peak week. I've had better weeks, but this is pretty close. It's pretty close. Okay. I mean, I see characters the whole time. So our next step could be when we load the data, only putting one item in the slot and seeing if we die there. Now we do have an assertion on the length that'll go up, but that's just our assertion that we can take out. That's no longer the right assertion. And then if that works, we can just point it at the data and GG's, man. You know? Is it harder for me to make a game without scripted language for gameplay? No. Scripting languages are bad, okay? The reason for scripting languages, they're for people who are not professional programmers, right? if you're a professional programmer, you would rather have a real programming language than a scripting language, because real programming languages work better and tell you more about what's wrong, and you can debug them and all this stuff, right? The reason for scripting languages is for people who are not professional programmers. Now, there are better ways lately for people who are not professional programmers to program, like with, boxes and lines kind of interfaces. So that's where we're at technologically these days, is boxes and lines interfaces and not scripting. When hiring people, is there any particular question you ask them? No, I mean, you can see the video that Casey put on YouTube about how to hire. I think that's pretty reasonable. I mean, this is working. That's the thing. Sometimes programming is grunt work of renaming variables, but then the end is actually pretty meaningful. I mean, I see characters. I see characters. With scripting, you can skip compile. You can do that with anything. What do you mean? You can do that with anything. You don't have to be running a slow-ass scripting language in order to not have to restart your game to try your change out. It is not necessary. Not just slow, but non-type safe, horrible stringly typed scripting ass language. You don't need to use that. It doesn't help you. We have learned this. String-oriented programming. I mean, there are such languages. That's not a joke. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Honest and popular go hand in hand. We're just waiting. This test has taken longer than normal because it's a debug build, but I just want to give an opportunity for all these assertions to go off. Actually, you know what? This is good enough that we're going to do the next change. And then, because that one is like, yeah, we'll see. Anyhow, Yeah, we have a number of more changes to do here. Okay, here's the deal. In these cases, this is when we're loading the binary animation. Okay? We're still not going to point these at the data. But now instead of splatting out a full array, we're going to leave all the memory there and stuff because we're going to delete this in a bit. But we're just going to fill in the first one and set the count, right? So bone.positions sub 0 equals t. Bone.positions.count equals 1. All right. Bone.orientation sub 0 equals q. Bone.count equals 1. All right. So because, right, it's constant, we only need 1. That's been the whole point of this situation. All right. And now I believe we have some assertion somewhere on the sizes of these that's likely to go off. Like in my memory, that's a thing. Oh, 9, so what just happened? What just happened? 972. Yeah. S scale. Okay, well, this guy has constant animation stuff. Now, because the memory is still there, we could be out referencing past it, but oh, I didn't like that. Whoa, why am I seeing T-pose people? That's not good. Yeah, no, hold on. I don't know which levels those were. Let's try to get it sooner. I don't want to see T-pose people. Right there already. Zombie graves. It's probably zombie graves, right? Now, did I just not notice this before? It wasn't zombie graves. Okay. She's not actually T-posing. Maybe that was an artifact of the testing. Or some artifact of the new... Some artifact of the new scenario situation. I think I can cheat at this level anyway. Like if I do this and do that, whoops, do that, whoops, go there. Oh, I can't. Oh, never mind. I thought I could push that into the doorway and smash it, but now it traps me. It traps me. Okay, cool. Let's go. Now what? Now what? Yeah, we definitely intended to make this a full game, but it also turned out bigger. Like it's a very big full game as opposed to like a normal sized. Right? Okay. So I'm not going to worry about that T-posing for now. It scares me a little bit, but we'll see. Isn't that the Zork Sokoban level? Yes, but I don't remember how to, I'm not going to sit there and figure it out again. All right. So let's just try with the positions. Bone.positions.data equals s.data. All right. Here, and then advance s by bone.positions.count times size of vector 3. All right. And here it's like num samples or 1. So we're just literally pointing at the file. Question is, are we like freeing that memory somewhere? I don't know. So we're just going to try this. See what happens. Oh. Equals XX double X starring Vin Diesel. Should probably play the original Sokoban. I don't think that's worth it. Original Sokoban is not a very good game. Like, it was fine. It was exciting at the time. But it is not a very good game compared to all the many, many, many Sokoban style games that people have made. Yeah, original Sokoban do not. In fact, original Sokoban actually starts out fine, and then they did something so horrible and bad that it ruins the entire game. You probably won't be able to find that version of the game because what it does is so bad that people who ported it like took that out. But yeah. Is there any multiplayer Sokoban? There's got to be. There's got to be. All right, well, we're going to expand this approach to all right. So, going to do the same thing with orientation. All right. So you can see again how you would turn this into a branch-free operation. If you want to load these even faster, is like you somehow use this to mask and then generate a 1, right? Or else this. It's the kind of trick that you can do branch-free. It's no problem. All right. That means this and this times size of quaternion. You see where this is going. You see where this is going. Let's try that out. Sean invented laser beams. Yeah. Sean actually, back before most people were indie, Sean was indie. In fact, Sean was a published... No, that's not true, actually. I was going to say he was a published indie game developer before me, or like self-published. I mean, we put a game out on the internet. It had sort of technically... I don't know how to think about it. Anyway, Sean made these games called Chromatron 1, 2, and 3 that were about colored laser beams. And then he was sad that, you know, they didn't get that much attention. He was just a little early. He was just early. All right, this appears to... I mean, we must be loading all kinds of animations here. So now we do it with scale. Same. Look how much nicer that is. So again, we're just pointing at the data in the file, right? That's it. This is get struct. Okay, we're using it up here for that. I don't know if that's worth it, but that's the only place it's used now. All right, let's try this. We're doing pretty good. Uh-oh. I messed it up. That's our asserting that we ate all the bytes. Oh, I put vector 3. Matrix 3. Okay. Do you see that? That is the utility of having an assertion like this, right? All this says is assert that we ran out of bytes. Exactly. And as soon as I mess this up, this goes off. I don't have to like run some tests and look at the screen and hope that the data is right. You know, it's like the assertion went off. It told me I made a mistake. I found the mistake very quickly. Okay. You want that to happen. Well, you prefer to not have a mistake at all. But if you have a mistake, you want to spot it very quickly. That doesn't mean encumbering your code with zillions and trillions of assertions, right? Everywhere. You don't want to assert on things where the assertion's never going to go off, because that's a useless assertion. Well, it's self-documenting, I guess. But if you have enough of them, it's not really documenting. It's kind of confusing. So what I knew here is like, hey, I'm making a file format. I'm reading bytes. I'm going to be doing a lot of transformations of this code. It is likely that I will make mistakes when I do that. So let's use this assertion to hold it down. This is a very valuable assertion right here, right? Very valuable. It's like that stone on the Go board that's like keeping a quarter of the board under control. I mean, this is easier than I thought. I had assumed that this was going to take another 3 hour stream. We're like, I don't know, an hour 10, and we got it. So that's maybe everything that I wanted to do. I mean, we can do a release build and run a full Benny test. Let's see if there's no check-ins. Okay, so that's gone now. Oh yeah, we could do this one. And then this printing result we can get rid of. Okay. Dude, we revamped the whole animation system, not the whole animation system, but the files and the data in one day. One day, 3 streams, didn't even work more than a full day's number of hours, right? We've only worked like 7 hours on this. And it's much smaller, it's much more efficient loading, and wish I'd done it this way originally, but you know, that's why we get better. Okay, this thing here, we don't need this. We need Ori 0 is a quaternion, and X0, Ori 0 equals anim dot do I have a bone pointer? I don't. Anim dot bones root bone index dot orientations 0. So we're using this, right? I mean, I don't know why I don't just like lift this out anyway. Like, why am I doing this here? Let's just do that. I'm not sure if I had a reason to delay that before, but now it doesn't look like it. Oh, wait, that's sample index. Oh, okay, never mind. Wait. Yeah, sorry, I'm confused. We need to do this once per bone. Don't we? Oh, no, 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 never mind. No, 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 no. Because we're, yeah, no, 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 no. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Okay, hold on. Oh, if anim bones is null, we return. Okay, great. Let's actually put this together. Now down here, where we have this x0, this is just Ori 0. And that's it, right? Hey. All right, let's do the release build. And then maybe I'm done for the day. Miller time, you know? Miller time. Miller time. Just waiting for it to compile. Any questions about what we've been doing? How have things been going? Why does LLVM take 42 seconds? Well, it is optimizing, but yeah, it shouldn't take that long. We are advancing our progress on our side toward having our own optimizer. Our optimizer will not take 42 seconds on that code. I tell you what. How long will it take? We don't know. We're still very early in these explorations. Value. Is Steven working on something new? I don't know. He dropped in the stream the other day. Is the work done for the game going to end up in a public engine? Yes. Although, man, you know, as we get closer and closer to shipping a real game, I keep looking at it and being like, are people really going to want all these complications? Is it really the best thing to ship people? But, you know, we'll ship whatever helps people the most. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is going pretty well. I think we can take for granted that this has worked, and maybe that's the end of the YouTube stream. Thanks everybody for coming by. The next stage, the next phase of this, we will do a part 4 at least, and it might go further, but maybe not, because the next part is just integrating the export plugin with like Maya to actually generate these binaries on that side, and then deleting all this stuff. Maybe we'll just not YouTube all the gross Maya integration stuff, and we'll just do the happy we get to delete the text files from our game engine. We'll see. What do I think? Someone is asking, what do you think is needed to make sure package dependencies don't get out of hand and ludicrous, a la Node with NPM? Just a cultural change among developers, or is there something else? There's multiple things. Culture is a big part of it, though. I have always naturally felt like including all this scary code that I don't know what it is a bad thing, and to avoid that whenever possible, right? Part of that also comes from the C++ world, where it's like it actually may be hard to recompile those things in the future, and so you're taking on like liability of maybe you can't rebuild your thing in the future if you have more dependencies, right? That's one. But yeah, it's an aesthetic thing. Like, it's gross to have all that code. It's not good. And that didn't get culturally communicated correctly because people were too busy making money on the web. And also just this community culture thing, I think it's seen positively somehow that like there's this giant pile of stuff, and I'm adding my little piece on top, and that's good, and that's how it's supposed to be, and it's not really good most of the time, actually. So culture is the main parameter, but also with technical systems, right? The design of your system encourages what people do with it, and in fact, the design of your system may force people to deal with problems. Yeah. And so I think programming languages and general systems can try to figure out how to minimize need for weird dependency stuff. I think we could do a lot of exploration there. Anyway, okay, I'm going to stop the recording, but we're going to keep going here. Bye, YouTube people. Okay. That's that. Oh, we literally just finished the test right after I stopped the recording. Okay. GG's test. 69 levels failed. Nice. Commit. Point at the data inside the binary file, the animation data inside the binary file, rather than making a copy. That is great. Our memory usage went down by a gig right there. That's great. That's great. Any workshop map support for Sokoban? No, we have our hands full just finishing the game. If we can do some kind of modability afterward, we might, but that would actually be a pretty big project for this game. In all the changes that I've done lately, I feel like the chances that I've done something disruptive that'll break things for the team are pretty high. Like I literally changed light maps, vertex paint, animations, and I don't even know what else. But we made the package smaller with many fewer files. Let's go back. Let's enjoy that again. 9.6 gigs, dude. Let's go back, and I'm just going to run the... Oh, we already have it here. I was going to say, I'm just going to run the packager again on the same manifest just to see. Wait, this is old. This is when we still had the keyframed animations. That's like from this morning, dude. 10,000. Let's run it again. We don't want 10,000 loose files. Screw that noise. $7,000. Now, so, there's some other questions for the future. Like, do we want to support packages that we fseek in and just read individual textures from? That could be, right? And then all these could be in files. Yeah, hard to say. And at that point, it's like, do we start bundling all these up, etc.? Yeah, we'll see. We will see. There's tremendous progress, though. Tremendous progress. Better now than weeks before shipping. I know, man. I know. You don't think you'd be courageous enough to do that at your job? Do what? We're just programming, man. We're just making good things. That's what we do here. We try anyway. We don't always succeed at making good things, but we try. So even with the textured stuff, it's like for yeah, for patching purposes, I don't think we would want the individual files to be too big. There's like, let's see, the texture files I believe was like 2 gigs. 2.26 gigs. You know, if we divide that into like 6 packages or something, right? Or 8 packages, it's a 1/4 gig per package. That's fine. And it minimizes the chances of having problems. And then we can just like read into those or whatever and read textures out as we load them. Of course, we don't ever evict textures. I don't know. Maybe I don't put effort into that because later we'll probably have it zoned again. So who knows? Who knows? Making large disruptive changes, you would catch a lot of flame from everyone. Well, you know, there's another word for that, and it's called being in an unproductive environment. Now, there are ways to kind of sandbox productive, disruptive changes and make sure they don't do a lot of damage. But like if your place isn't doing that and is instead saying don't, like essentially what they're saying is don't program, right? I mean, I don't want to be a programmer at a place where they're saying don't program. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Do we think the optimizer would automatically handle the bad branch prediction code, i.e. figure out how to make it branch free? I don't know. I imagine Ryan is going to look at that. I'm not looking at any of this optimizer stuff right now because I have way too much to do. Ryan's looking at it, and you know, there is this question about what kind of optimizations do we consider important, right? Because well, we have a very different idea about what's important than like the LLVM guys do. And I think what that means is the set of optimizations that we would even think about implementing is a lot smaller. Like there's lots of stuff LLVM does that I'm like, dude, I don't care about that. And what that means is we could maybe focus more intensely on the optimizations that we do implement. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Anyway, I might want to go to bed sometime soon. So I think it's time for me to sign off. I've been waking up really early or just not, like, ever since this last flight back and forth to Florida, my sleep schedule has been confused. What format is the animation exported in Maya? It's exported in our format. Our format that we export. How many optimizations are there that are both important and impossible to implement at the user level? I mean, most compiler optimizations are not really possible to implement at user level. That's why there's a compiler. I mean, if you mean having a meta program that like rewrites your program to do stuff, I don't feel like that's the right way to do optimization. I mean, maybe some people could experiment with that, but it doesn't sound right to me. Not for the compiler architecture that we are making. All right, thanks everybody. I'm getting tired. Have a good evening. This work session is going to go straight up on YouTube again. So if you missed any of it, you'll be able to see it. Have a good night. See you all later on. If the stop button